Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror Remastered. So, we're in the middle of Revelations, as it is, about the Mayan myth and this evil god getting trapped into a mirror, and that we're gonna need 3 stones, spirit stones, and we already have one of them. And if we don't have them by the eclipse, then the evil god will be released and the world will end. And we just kind of have to go through this conversation. There's no exit or anything, so we're just going through this. Not really any puzzles to get to this point. There was the ironing the priest colors puzzle and starting a fire to get the priest to come out 2 scenes ago. So there was a couple, but as far as reaching this village, we just were immediately run into the conversation. No, that's not true either. I'm still probably just reeling from the previous city, the Mexican city that we started. Well, I keep saying Mexican, but I mean Central American city that we started and spent so much time on there, because there was a puzzle about bringing gifts to the shaman before we could get in the village. Let's just start on the left and ask questions.
There's an eclipse of the sun due very soon, isn't there?
Correct. The eclipse which marks the ending of the Fifth Age will come before the next full moon.
Less than 2 weeks. I didn't really believe that Tezcatlipoca would return, but I figured Karzak's plans were in some way connected.
So, it's kind of weird to have to ask questions after we had just been shown a cutscene. And it feels like the cutscene may have been cut short in the remastered version again. Which, I mean, the game should really make up its mind. Are you going to have us talk and have a conversation to explain this dialogue, which is going to be the central focus probably of the third act, and in a sense, the main focus of the whole game, but really didn't play any part up to this point? Or you're just going to show me a cutscene and to explain it?
What happened to the stones?
They were taken by the Spanish to the coastal town that is now called Quaramonte City. Only one stone reached Spain. The other 2 fell into the hands of buccaneers. The Jaguar stone was captured by an English captain, El Draco. The Eagle stone was taken by a pirate called Ketch. The 3rd stone, the Coyote stone, reached Spain safely. That is the stone in your possession.
So it's possible that we may end up going to buccaneer pirate ships and finding this. But it is also possible in the remastered version, or even the original version, since I can't really remember the original version. I kind of wish I had played the original version first and covered that, and then played the remastered version. And that's certainly not the feeling you want to have when you're looking at a remastered version of a game. You don't want the story changing, you don't want the gameplay changing, and it feels like that's what's happening. So either we're going to find these stones with very little effort, or we're going to have to take special trips to each of these places to find the stones.
Tell me more about the Jaguar stone.
Many centuries ago, the port of Quaramonte was entered by a ship flying Spanish colors. The captain, the man known as El Draco, sent soldiers ashore. Only when the soldiers arrested the mayor did the people realize that they were English privateers. The mayor was held hostage while the soldiers looted and plundered the city. Amongst the treasures they stole was the Jaguar stone.
Okay, let's continue asking questions about this.
Where is the Jaguar stone now?
I suppose El Draco took it back to his homeland, across the Great Sea.
To England.
So we may end up going to England, okay. That would be very much like the first game, to travel all across Europe.
Tell me more about the Eagle stone.
The stone was loaded onto a galleon with many valuable artifacts plundered by the Spanish. But shortly after leaving harbor, a terrible squall blew up and damaged the ship. The ship was intercepted by a bloodthirsty pirate, Captain Ketch. Ketch made short work of overpowering the crew, stealing the treasure, and sinking the Spanish ship.
Okay.
Where's the Eagle stone now?
Nobody knows for sure. Ketch retired from piracy and bought an island in the Caribbean.
So we may end up in the Caribbean and England.
What do I do when I find the stones?
Bring them here to me, and I shall prepare you. The stones must be taken to the heart of the pyramid. Only there can they be used to seal the gate by which Tezcatlipoca will return to this world.
And let's ask about Tezcatlipoca, or however you pronounce that.
Suppose I was to believe there was anything in your story, other than the rambling delusions of a seriously wacky old man. Suppose I was to swallow it, hook, line, and kitchen sink. What then?
Then you would see that the fate of the human race rests upon your shoulders.
Let's keep asking this question.
Do I get anything to help me combat Tezcatlipoca?
Like what?
Well, a magical weapon?
Get real, George.
Let's focus on the temple first, because we really need the root if we're going to save Nicole. That should be our main focus. And in point-and-click adventure games, you usually want to click on the least important thing to the most important thing.
Can you show me the way to the pyramid of Tezcatlipoca?
Not until you possess all 3 stones.
So we can't even go to the pyramid until we have all 3 stones, which I highly suspect in the original version of this game you could have gone there, and it was a more open-world game.
Now do I get the root?
Here, take it. Make haste if you wish to save the girl's life. The hummingbird sings to me of death to come.
Now you're talking in riddles again. Listen, is it okay if I crash here? I've got no chance of finding my way through the jungle in the dark.
You're welcome, but you probably won't get much sleep. Tonight's the night of the monkey dance.
Now we're going to get a cutscene of the monkey dance? Nope. So,
I left the village at dawn and stumbled back through the jungle in a post-party daze. It was just like sneaking back to my parents' house when I was younger. Except Oakland didn't have monkeys or parrots.
part of the issue here with this game is it's trying to be funny while the main story is rather serious. And the comedy's just not playing for me. Let's use the medicine root in the press. And just squeeze it, because almost certainly that's what we're going to need to do. And
as the liquid was squeezed from the root, it collected in the cone.
alright, now we can grab the cone and use it on Nicole or Pearl. It may be Pearl up there. Then Nicole would just, I assume as a joke, walk into this place. Cone on treehouse, I suppose. Let's see, we're up here. It is Nicole.
Look, Hubert, the antidote.
Well, what are you waiting for? Give it to the girl, quickly.
And see, we kind of skipped potential things. I could have maybe walked up here and clicked on a few things.
Nico. Here, drink this.
Now, not for a second would I believe that.
George, it's horrible.
Just swallow it down.
Not for a second would I believe that there was a timer that
Okay,
she could
try
have
and rest
actually
now, darling.
died.
You'll need all your strength when we go after the other 2 stones.
Other stones? What other stones? What have you gotten me into now, George Stobbart?
The patient is sounding more like her old self already.
And we just skipped the whole area. So there might have been a
Nico
few
recovered
things to
quickly
click
from her
on.
fever. To save time, we decided to split up and look for each stone independently. I traced the pirate Ketch to a remote island in the Caribbean. With the fortune he'd amassed from piracy, he'd retired to a place that was later called Ketch's Landing.
So we just get flown here. Let's see, what page are we on? We're on page 14. And I assume that was new dialogue. And we're 54% done now. And I assume this was all designed to get away from the open world mechanic, which I assume we would have here. Let's see, we still have the stone, the dart, the statue, which we've already used once, but we must use again, and the eclipse newspaper. We have plans, we have a man, we have a survey tool. Theodolite? Haven't heard that word before.
It looked like a set of plans.
And games really
I just had to sneak a look at those plans.
don't need to have the characters wandering around across the world.
Hey, get out of there.
You know, wherever I go, I hear those words. Paris, Syria, Ireland, or Spain. Makes no difference.
What do you think you're doing?
I was trying to show some interest in your project.
Alright. So we could either talk to the man, I guess, first. Looks like there might be a net over here. What's funny is, in the first game, there was this hint of a place where you weaved nets, and we never figured that out in the director's cut. There was nothing there at all. Seems like there's something reflecting in there. Like, nothing at all that was mentioned about it or anything, and I imagine that's because the director's cut it out completely.
I didn't want a fishing net.
And now we're seeing a net that almost feels like an homage to the first game. I'm trying to think if you could have made both of these games into one. And I don't really see how you could have. I think maybe you could move some of the levels around back and forth and made
I
a
didn't
little
know
bit
the
more
first thing
sense.
about sailing a dinghy.
But yeah, they've got a story as weird as it is
Hi,
for both of
is
them.
this Ketch's Landing?
Yeah, man. You want to buy some fish?
Nah, I don't like fish. What's your name?
Rio. It means river. What about you?
George. It means, well, it's just a name.
Let's ask about Ketch, I suppose.
Is it true that Captain Ketch lived around here?
That's right. That's his house up on the hill. It's a museum now.
Yeah? That's exactly what I need. Thanks, kid.
You won't get inside, you know. The old ladies close it down.
Why did the old lady close it down?
What do you know about Captain Ketch?
Just what everybody knows around here. He was a pirate and get himself hung.
Weird audio again. Sounds very directional.
No school today?
No, sir.
What about your education?
I can fish, sail, and swim. I've been looking after myself since I was 6, and I'm bilingual.
Aren't you a little overqualified for a beach bum?
Well, you know, there's a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition for a beach bum. It looks like there's something behind here, but it's the rocks, actually. Interesting. They probably would have done better to have a solid black background behind these elements.
Who are these old ladies you mentioned?
Miss Frost and Miss Mina Ketch.
How come the old ladies closed the museum?
It's Bronson's doing.
The guy with the theodolite?
Him have the plans for redeveloping the museum. They're going to regret it, you know. The man's a crook.
Now, we'd never caught Bronson's name, so we shouldn't have been able to respond like that.
Will you help me get those plans?
I don't want to go nowhere near that man. He promised to draw me when he found the fish I left in his sleeping bag.
Seems like we're knocking out questions and options more faster than we should.
Do you know anything about pirate treasure?
Man, that's all stories. There's no such thing as a real pirate treasure.
Anywhere?
Do you know anything about a forthcoming eclipse?
No, but that explains why the weather's about to get real bad.
Rio, it's a beautiful day. There's no more than a whisker of cloud in the sky.
Trust me, man, it's going to get real bad.
Different dialogue is being spoken than what is being subtitled, too. Alright, so let's go talk to Bronson. I guess I have no reason to deal with the net. Or this theodite. Never heard of it called this before. A lot of this is just elements right from
My name's
Indiana
George
Jones
Stobbart.
games.
You're a surveyor, right, Mr.
And I have to
Bronson.
assume that this game
Of course I'm a surveyor.
stole
Why the
the
hell
ideas
else would
from
I have
that
a
one.
theodolite?
I don't know. Hobby, maybe?
Yeah, right. What brings you here anyway?
Although it
I'm
could be the
searching for an
opposite.
ancient Mayan artifact.
What is it? Some kind of jewel?
No, it's obsidian. A black stone with supposedly mystic powers.
You're nuts.
Let's ask about the kid.
What do you think of Rio?
Fish boy? If he comes near me again, I'll throttle the little squirt.
Calm down. What's he ever done to you?
Sock me in the back of my skull with some kind of fish, that's what.
Tell me about the two old ladies.
Who? The Ketch sisters. One of them's crazy as a coot, and the other will turn you to stone if you're not careful.
What are you doing with the theodolite?
Surveying the old house. I got great plans for this place.
Oh, yeah?
You bet. Take a look around. What do you see?
Paradise.
I see opportunity. This place is ripe for development.
I like it just the way it is.
And that's where we differ. You see, Mr. Stobbart, I'm what you might call a man of vision. I see a great future for Ketch's Landing, and it all starts here, with that house.
Let's ask if we can look at his plans.
Can I take a look at your plans?
No way. What interest would they be to you, anyhow?
I've always had a secret desire to be a surveyor.
You have?
Sure. I mean, you surveyors are just like the great explorers, aren't you? Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, Chris Columbus. Maybe you don't sail uncharted seas or discover new continents, but you're okay in my book.
Horseshit. You just stay away from those plans, you hear?
What's the point of that conversation, really? If it's not gonna succeed ever.
How do you survey a house like that?
I've put a target reflector on the end of one of the flagpoles up there on the house. I sight on it from various locations through the theodolite, record the angles along the baseline, and triangulate them to give me the exact position of the target. Understand?
Why the end of the flagpole? Wouldn't it have been better on a corner of a wall or something?
Are you a surveyor?
No, my degree's in law.
Then shut up.
Oh yeah, that's something to remember too. Is like George Stobbart is a lawyer, and he's doing all of this adventuring stuff. So we'll have to probably move the reflector. Probably figured that out already.
This is similar to the stone I'm looking for.
What makes you think you'll find it here?
Because when the stones were stolen in the 17th century...
Hold it. The stones have been lost for 300 years?
Approximately.
And you're hoping to find them again? You're nuts. And why here?
A wise old Indian shaman told me he saw the stones in a vision.
Ha ha. That's rich. Listen, I got work to do, okay?
So one last thing to ask.
Look at this. An article about a total eclipse of the sun.
Oh, yeah? Listen, I don't want to be rude, but it just comes naturally. I really don't care.
Catch you later, Bronson.
So I'm again have to say I don't remember the original version of this Broken Sword 2. But it certainly feels like there was a button somewhere here where I could switch to Nicole and do her part in the meantime, and I think they've intentionally taken that out to make the game more linear. We can see there's nothing here that would imply anything like that. There's no inventory item that would imply anything like that. If that's not actually the case, it certainly feels like it should be the case. Getting frustrated in a point-and-click adventure and being able to switch to another section and make some progress there actually makes a lot of sense as a way of helping a player make it through the struggle of some of these odder puzzles that are harder to figure out. Let's talk to the cat because we probably won't say too much
Hi, Puss.
to him.
Want to play? Hey, cat. Watch where you're putting those claws.
So maybe we could give the cat something to play with. Nope. I suppose darting
It
the
would have been
cat.
pretty cool to drug the cat, but I didn't have the heart. And besides which, those sisters would kill me.
So we've got a ladder, we've got a door. Let's walk over here and just make sure there's nothing more on this side. So if I could move this from this to that, that would potentially help. But I bet I need to talk to the ladies first. Are we not going to get in the building for a while, I guess? Interesting.
Hi, my name's George Stobbart.
We're talking again.
Afternoon, Mr. Stobbart. Would you care for tea?
No, thank you, ma'am. I don't like tea.
Let's ask about the cat, I suppose.
Is that your cat?
Yes, it is.
Maybe we need a fish
Do you like
to give it
cats,
to cat
Mr. Stobbart?
to the cat. Let's say yes.
You bet. Specially spit roast.
Really?
Can you tell me anything about Captain Ketch?
More than you can tell me about your great-great-great-great-grandfather, no doubt.
You're his descendants?
Certainly. Captain Ketch was born in Dorset, England, in the reign of King Henry VIII. His family were undistinguished farmers, but young Frederick Ketch decided to go to sea.
We have plenty of seamen in our family, Mr. Stobbart.
Are you interested in history, Mr. Stobbart?
Let's say yes.
Yes, I am. You were telling me about Captain Ketch. Do go on.
Tell me
yes.
everything.
He sailed under Hawkins,
Jim Hawkins?
John Hawkins, one of the great traders of the Elizabethan age. In 1568, Frederick Ketch was a young man serving aboard the Jesus, Hawkins' flagship. They sailed from England to Africa and across the wide Atlantic to these islands. Ketch was never to see the shores of England again.
Let's keep asking questions, I suppose.
How come Ketch never made it home?
Because the Spaniards sank the Jesus in an act of treachery.
Now, I don't think you would name a ship after Jesus. That seems like something that early Christians would feel as blasphemous.
You said Hawkins' fleet traded between Africa and the Indies. What was it they were trading?
Black men with no shirts.
You have to understand, Mr. Stobbart, that this was the 16th century.
But that doesn't alter the fact that Hawkins and Ketch were slavers and pirates.
Would it surprise you to learn that Hawkins was also a devoutly religious man?
He transported slaves in a ship named after Jesus Christ. In my book, that makes him a hypocrite. What happened to Ketch? Was he killed?
Oh no, he got away and returned to this island, to this very house.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum.
Let's ask some more questions, I suppose.
Is it true Frederick Ketch was a pirate?
Frederick Ketch was emphatically not a pirate.
They hanged him, you know. Down there on the beach in front of his family. Didn't bother with a trial. Just whipped him out from his breakfast table and hoisted him up in chains.
It was a little weird that the one sister appeared over here instead of showing up over here, but whatever.
Well, if he wasn't a pirate,
And
what
he's
did they hang him
moving
for?
from the
Envy.
left to the right.
Pure green-eyed envy. He had been a successful privateer,
should just
you
keep
see,
him
and
on
had
this side
accumulated
always,
great
and
wealth.
everybody
As
else
rich
over
as a
here.
mink in a paddock.
Shut up, Mina.
Yes, Frost.
The small-minded governor and his lackeys wanted his money, trumped up some ridiculous charge about breaking the conditions of his letter of marque, and hanged him like a common thief. The blackguards!
Let's just keep asking questions.
Letter of marque?
The document that permitted him to engage and destroy the enemies of the crown. The difference between a lawful privateer and a pirate.
Yoo-hoo! Sorry, Frost.
Well, why didn't Ketch just say, take a hike, guys, I've got a pirating license?
Frederick Ketch was not a pirate,
But he did show them his letter of marque.
but they destroyed it and hanged him anyway.
Alright, let's ask about the boy then.
I've been talking to Rio, the little fisher boy.
I'll thank you not to mention that little wretch in my presence.
Dirty little whelk. Nasty fishy boy.
That will do, Mina.
I gather you don't have much time for the little boy.
That child is a delinquent, Mr. Stobbart.
Yeah, well, he's only, what, 11, maybe?
A knave with one hand on the tots.
What is it about Rio that you don't like, Miss Frost?
Well, once upon a time, he and Emily...
Be quiet this instant, Mina.
Emily? Who's Emily?
What can you tell me about Emily?
Emily? What business can she be of yours?
Her parents were killed in a typhoon.
We, as her only living relatives, took it upon ourselves to raise the child.
It's good to know Charity isn't dead.
Oh, but she is. Washed overboard in the typhoon.
Mr. Stobbart wasn't talking about Emily's mother. He was being sarcastic.
So Emily's mother was named Charity?
What else can you tell me about Emily?
How dare you pry into our family in this way? I refuse to answer any more of your impertinent questions.
Okay, I guess that solves that line of dialogue. So apparently him and Emily, the Fisher Boy and Emily, got up to some trouble that these two don't approve of. How far are we now? 55% and 5 hours and 45 minutes into the game. How did that happen? Oh, I know how it happened. Because I took a 2-hour break in between recording the last recording, or the recording before the last recording, and this one. And so there's no fixing that. Just gonna have to remember that the timer should be something closer to 4 hours right now. Maybe 4 hours and 50 minutes. Definitely not 5 hours and 50 minutes. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. On the right, there's a button that says support this channel. And down below in the description box, I have links to all my social media feeds. So please follow and friend me on all of those. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.